Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today, we're going to talk about AU Tradelines, authorized user trade lines to boost your credit score. We're going to talk about what it takes, how they calculate your credit score. So please, like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates.
Latest and greatest, baby. Woo!
Now, let's get to it.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So you see my favorite screenshot here is the pie for your credit bureau report. This is how they determine your credit score. In case there's anybody new here who doesn't understand how the credit is calculated, we'll start simply, and then I'll get to the AU trade lines that's available and the special deals that we have. But for everybody that's been here, I'll make this short and sweet, and for the new people, you can find out how they calculate it. So, and why an AU trade line, an authorized user trade line, helps your credit score instantly. Payment history is the biggest pie. That's 35%. That means your on-time payment history. So you want to be 100%, but let's face it, things happen in someone's life. Sometimes you miss a payment or two or three and you get in this bad downward spiral. Well, that is what causes your credit score to go down. Even if you miss one payment, your score can go down like 100 points because it's 35% of your payment history. So with an AU trade line, if you missed a payment, getting an AU trade line, the older an AU trade line is, then that means that's how many months. So in other words, if we had a 10-year trade line, then you have 10 years of on-time payment history. That's 120 on-time payments that would be added to your account, and so therefore that would bring you back up to where you need to be at 98%, 99%, or 100% for on-time payments to have a positive effect on your credit score. So next up is the 30% window. And this is your debt utilization, and as they say here, the amount owed. So again, let's say we have a $10,000 trade line that you already have in your name, and you have already borrowed $5,000 against your credit card. That means you have a 50% debt utilization. Well, for your credit score to be good, you have to be under 29% or less. 29% or less can move your credit score up in a positive direction. The optimal number you want is 5 to 7%. So if you have a $10,000 trade line, you really only want to have $50 to $70 owed at any given time. And what I mean by that is some people are confused about how much you should owe at any given time. Well, actually you have a statement date. So let's just say your statement date is the 15th of the month. That's when the snapshot comes of the credit bureaus. So on the 1st of the month, let's say I charge $5,000. All right? But let's say on the 10th of the month, I pay $4,950 and I only have a $50 balance. Well, on the 15th of the month, it's going to show that I only have a $50 balance. So then that $10,000 trade line will be well below, what is that, 2%? Actually, it's a little more, 5%? So 5%, you're well below that. So that meets the threshold, right? So that's what you have to understand. Even though you charge your money or charge a card or whatever you do, your debt utilization is based on that statement date. So you need to know what your statement date is. So if it's, like I said, the example, I'll use a different one. Let's say it's the 12th of the month. And let's say on the 10th of the month, I go out and buy, let's say I owe nothing on my credit card. I have a $10,000 credit card, I owe zero. But on the 10th of the month, I go out for whatever reason and spend $5,000 on that credit card. 2 days later, on the 12th, when they take a snapshot it shows that I owe $5,000, even though on the 13th of the month, I went to the bank and paid $4,900. It will still show because they took that snapshot on the 12th, and now that month when they report to the credit bureau, it's going to report 50% debt utilization, which could bring your score down. Even though when your statement comes out a few days later in the mail, it's going to say $5,000, but you already paid $4,900 on it. So this is why your statement date is very important. And that goes with your debt utilization, and an AU trade line can help people if you have debt collections, for instance. So let's use it in reverse. Let's say you have bad debt and you have in collections $3,000, I'll keep it simple, $5,000 that you owe somebody, okay? Now, when you have, let's just say you have a $5,000 credit card. Well, according to the credit bureau, it'll say your debt utilization is out of whack, obviously. You're going to have a high debt utilization, which now means your score is getting dragged down. So now you have a $5,000 credit card, a zero balance, you're still not going to be getting positive payment and credit history going. So in order to offset that $5,000 and get underneath 29%, you're going to need a $15,000 or $16,000 authorized user trade line. And as soon as you get a $16,000 authorized user trade line and you add some age, that can help you get down below 30%. And you might need more than that because the trade line is going to already have a 5 to 15% type of debt utilization on it anyhow. So you might need like a $20,000 AU trade line to offset that. And then depending on what your payment history is, then either you can get a 2-year trade line, which would cost less at $20,000, or if you need to offset some payment history and you need to get like 8 years or 10 years, then it's going to cost you more. How it works is age costs more with AU trade lines. So I'm going to give you a trade line right now. That's a perfect example of what I'm talking about that's available. $16,500 Discover card. It's 2 years, 10 months, and the trade line only costs $799. Now the reason why, even though there's a high credit limit, the 2 years, 10 months is low. In other words, the age history is not that long. It's not 8 years, it's not 5 years, it's not 7 years, it's not 10 years. So this is why that trade line only costs $799. So you can see the next bucket is length of credit history is 15% of your score. So if you can get your payment history right, your debt utilization under 29%, preferably 5 to 7%, and if you can get your length of history, the age, to be 5 years, 8 years of on-time payments, you can see right there 80% of your credit score is affected, and now you'll be able to boost up your credit score. And then you see the other part is new credit, 10%, and then the types of credit because you want a credit mix. It's good to have a credit card. This is why a credit card, a house payment, and a car loan, those are different credit mixes. The same thing goes with a personal loan. If you went down to the bank, revolving credit, like let's say you got self-lender or Credit Strong. Those different mixes, you actually get 10% to your score. It's a minor number, but you'll see if you look on your credit file, sometimes you're like, wow, I got 3 points added. I got 5 points added. I got 6 points added, just this minor stuff. Whereas when you add an AU, you could see like 25 points added, 40 points added. It all depends on what's on your credit file, of course, but that's how we do it. So that is the story with how you can figure out how to boost your credit file, boost your credit scores, all of them. All right, let's keep going with the AUs because that's what we came here for, and I got specials for you. There are specials all the time, and whenever you hit me up, right now, for instance, we have, if you order a $995 AU trade line or higher, then you get a free credit sweep or you get a free hard inquiry removal. These are the kind of things that people sometimes have to pay an extra $400, $500, $600 to get. And right now, anybody who orders, like I said, a $995 Tradeline, AU Tradeline or higher, you get one of these choices. The special changes almost on a daily or weekly basis. Like earlier this week, you could have got both for the $995. But now it's either a choice. And then maybe that's why you have to hit me up before and ask me, Eric at StopStrugglingNow.com. Just ask me when you send me an email if there's any specials, because these specials do not always apply in case somebody sees these 2 years from now, 6 months from now. But we sometimes have different specials. So let's get down to the business at hand. Authorized user trade lines that are available. Here's a big one, a credit limit of $30,000. It's a Barclays. It's 2 years, 2 months of age, and it's $849. Now, some people say, hey, Eric, I don't know how I can pay for this. Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, everybody who wants an AU trade line, this is a cash and carry type of deal. What I mean by that, the only way payment is received is if you have Zelle, like Bank of America, Chase, Wells Fargo. You have to have a major bank. You have Zelle in your account. You send money to me through Zelle. The second way, Walmart to Walmart. This cost, I believe, $8.95, and that you send to me. And then the other ways, basically MoneyGram, Western Union, and those are the most expensive routes. So those are the only 3 options. You can't use credit cards, you can't use WhatsApp, you can't use PayPal, you can't use nothing. It's all cash and carry. Stuff has to be paid for. Because why? We have all the clowns in the world that would want to charge something, and then after they get the trade line, then they call their company and try and do a chargeback. This is why nobody will do AU trade lines where you can just charge it. Okay? It's simple. There's always a rotten apple in the crew that tries to get over on somebody. So anyhow, that's the only way you can pay for AU trade lines. Let's move on. Discover, $16,700 credit limit. But this one's a little more age, 5 years, 10 months, almost 6 years worth of on-time payments. And the reason why the price escalates is because of the 5 years, $999. That's it. Then we have a Citibank, $18,000 credit limit, and we're talking about 8 years, 6 months. So you know the common theme that's going to happen. The price goes up a little more because it's 8 years of on-time payment history in 6 months. So that's $1,099. And then the Discover card, $13,400. This is a long one, 17 years and 2 months of on-time payment history, and it's $1,395. This is all of the AU trade line specials I have right now. And if anybody wants a specific trade line where you say, hey, Eric, I need 10 years, and I need 10 years of on-time payment history, and I need $30,000 credit limit, just hit me up. Everything is available. These are just a sample of what's available, but I have all options that you'll need available. So that's all you have to do. This is short, this is sweet, and I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And the new shirts, Emerging Millionaires, coming out. And I didn't like the sample that came out because even though it's kind of cool, the words were too close together. The letters were too close together. It doesn't look right when you actually see it on a t-shirt. It looks fine on a computer. But anyhow, please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And you know it's hard out here. It continues to be hard out here. Everywhere you turn, there's bills to be paid. So therefore, you got to have extra streams of income. And then upcoming in the next week is going to be video to help out Opus virtual offices. Anybody that does online marketing, you might want to join me in this, because Opus just sent me a message where people can sign up using the link, and you can get paid for sending people to sign up for Opus virtual office space, just like I receive commission when people sign up for Opus virtual office. I'm going to have a link down below where anybody who wants to sell, do affiliate marketing, social media marketing, online marketing, niche marketing, whatever you want to call it, type marketing, where you are going to promote virtual Opus virtual office space, you can now receive a check. Hit me up, Eric at StopStrugglingNow.com, and we'll help you out. And I'm going to start bringing some other stuff in with some reputable companies. So stay tuned. And again, keep your head up, keep moving, and I'm out.